All right, there we go. Fuck, am I gonna have to record the other? Cool. All right, what's good? Welcome everyone to this technical analysis and psychology webinar. If you're not watching this live in person, if you're not on the meeting currently, you're probably watching this on YouTube. So this is just going to be a full meeting recording. It's not going to be edited or whatever. So maybe a bit of a long video, but this is just straight from the meeting. All right, cool. Let's start some analysis. As per usual, starting off on DXY, the dollar index, we're always looking to understand what the dollar is trying to do. Are we looking to strengthen? Are we looking to weaken? Now, fundamentally, the dollar has been on the decline. We have been in a long extended kind of bearish movement. We had that little couple retracement month or 2 months rather for like February, and now we're on the way back down. The past week or 2 weeks of price action has been very, very bearish. We've kind of printed a lower high, a rejection of the structural point, and continued lower. Now, low key, we never broke the low. We never broke the lowest low that was printed way back here in February. And we did kind of wick it on Friday. We kind of pierced it. So it's dependent whether or not you would class the wick as a break, but I personally do not. So coming up into Monday, I would be maybe anticipating price to retrace, maybe come pull back into this order block, breaker block, whatever you want to refer to it as, just previous structure, before maybe looking for price to continue. Again, it depends how we open and it depends the volume that we have, but 2 scenarios I can see playing out is maybe a Monday consolidation, a Tuesday retracement before we get a Wednesday midweek reversal back to the downside, or alternatively, we may just get a Monday retracement before we continue for Tuesday, Wednesday. But ultimately, all in all, I'm wanting for the dollar to weaken. I want to see DXY continue to go bearish so we can get some more continuation longs on the indices. So pretty easy analysis on this, just looking for bearish price action. And now if we look at the treasury yield's kind of been a bit shambolic recently. It hasn't really done much. We've been kind of pulling back, kind of in the same sort of general consolidation. So I'm not really paying too much attention to the treasury yield. However, overall on a much higher time frame, we're still very much bearish. We're kind of still just consolidating the long. So yeah, kind of the same kind of principle here as the dollar, but looking for a little bit of retracement before we get that continuation lower. Now coming here to US30, kind of like US30 last week was actually a beautiful week. There was just a lot of fundamentals. There was still a lot of news coming out. So a lot of the days were a bit tricky to try and trade and maneuver. But structurally, on the daily time frame, it was beautiful price action because we had that clean break above the structural high. We pretty much had a retest of this high that we left here. We had that accumulation period and that break above. And last week it was pretty much all buys. We were just going bullish. Now recently on Friday, we had a bit of a retracement, and it kind of looks like if I were to draw a box again, I don't want to make my screen or anything messy, but if I were to draw a zone across from here to here, it would be a nice, number one, a fill of this previous gap, and it would also be a nice retest of structure. So again, exact same concept here on US30. If we're anticipating the dollar to retrace Monday, Tuesday before reversing, and we'd be looking at the same analysis on the indices. So Monday, Tuesday, a retracement either to this key level or slightly lower back down here to the previous highs that were left. If we do not do that, if it's a tap and go kind of movement, if we open up with volume, it'll most likely be a rejection of the same little structural point that we're currently at before we continue higher. But regardless, exact same thing. We're just looking for buys for price to continue higher. Ultimately, and again, this is on a much larger time frame, a much larger time scale in the next week, 2 weeks, next month. I'm looking for price to come up and actually take out all of this buy side liquidity. So ultimately, very fundamentally bullish on US30, on nasdaq, etc. Again, you need to be practicing patience. It's very easy in a market like this when price is pushing. It's very easy to try and trade every day, to try and catch the continuation every day. But there are still going to be retracements in this sort of like price action. There's still going to be a day or two maybe where price is actually going in the other direction. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not patient enough to wait for the right opportunity to get in, you can just get caught lacking very early on in the week. So I'd recommend wait for the sentiment to shift, wait for the structure to be broken, and catch the high probability continuations back in the original direction. Moving on. Right here to NASDAQ. Now again, I'm not going to sound like a broken record here, but all the indices do kind of have the same price action. So we're looking at essentially the same thing. However, NASDAQ, on the other hand, hasn't been as bullish as US30 because we never broke structural highs. You can see last week, or actually the week before last week now, we left a structural high that we are still yet to break. For the past week on NASDAQ, we've been kind of consolidating. We've still been holding. We never really broke structural lows. So the sentiment hasn't quite shifted, but it's much more cumulative than US30. US30 is continuously pushing, is making highs, is breaking them, is going in one direction. NASDAQ, technically speaking, is ranging. Like we never broke highs, we never broke lows. And a lot of last week when I was trading, I would be in like a buy on US30 and NASDAQ would be shorting, which is very, very unusual. So for the time being, I'm really not too interested in NASDAQ's price action. If anything, Monday, Tuesday, definitely looking for NAS to short because it's had much more of a bearish sentiment anyway. So it could be looking for shorts on the NASDAQ, but I would much rather take buys on US30 than I would take sales on NASDAQ. So I'm not really too interested in this, but if you are looking at it, I'd be looking more on the bearish side. Until we fully break these lows, however, we're still technically bullish, but all in all, it's just a bit of an odd price action. So I just kind of believe in it. Now coming here to German 30, haven't really been looking at it too much, to be honest, but it's pretty much US30. Believe it or not, German 30, US30, same kind of principle right here. It is doing the correct thing. This is what NASDAQ should be doing as well, but it's that same structural high that we left back in March. Price is now broken back above, and we're looking for a nice continuation. Now, German 30's price action is a little bit more extended. It's more stretched out. It's much more of an intraday pair to be trading. So you'd be expecting the same sort of moves we're going to be seeing on US30, just on a slightly higher time frame. For example, if we get a 5-minute 3-pin formation and we break, you'd be looking for the same thing on German 30, just on a 15 or an hourly. That's kind of how they correlate. But yeah, all in all, there's not really much else that we need to be doing currently in terms of analysis wise. I don't really like to predict price. I don't really like to forecast that deeply because I'm simply waiting for price to show me what it wants to do and I react. I always say that I'm not a predictor. I'm not trying to predict price. I'm simply reacting to it and using the information that the markets give me. Any questions or any pairs that you guys would like me to check out, let me know in the chat. All right, so Lenti says NAS is clapped. AXG said German 30. We've just done German 30, bro. This is currently German 30. Or DAX, rather. GU. Yeah, we'll definitely do GU. And we'll run up gold as well. All right, so GU. Oof. Okay, interesting. Right off the bat, USD CAD. All right, we'll get that as well. All right, so GU, right off the bat, seems like last week we pretty much left equal highs. Low key, this is a break of the previous high, but you always want to look at how price is breaking. What's the sentiment of price action? And right here, we leave a structural high. Price comes up into it, just about breaks it, and then we immediately print a borderline like bearish engulfing. So market structure wise, I would definitely say this is 100% bullish market structure. And even like right here, there's a I didn't even know I had a zone. I was about to draw the same zone, but pretty much here, could even drag it left. It depends how fat you want your zone, but we've got a nice structure point here that price is retesting, but just paying attention to the market sentiment, the behavior of this little price that we left, it looks a little bit iffy. Fundamentally though, it should be pushing higher because of the dollar weakness. We should be getting GU strength. So it doesn't make sense for us to push higher. But if you're waiting for a Monday, Tuesday retracement, maybe you'd be looking for these lows to get broken, for price to pull back a little bit deeper, maybe down here to like 123 flat, or maybe 122.500 flat, before maybe continuing higher. But I'd say fundamentally bullish, definitely looking for longs, but I'd be very wary about some short-term retracements. Moving on to gold. Gold should also be going very, very long, and gold does actually look much, much nicer. So looking pretty clean. Again, we've got some nice structure. Let's see if I've got any drawings. No. We've got a nice structure point right here, simply just the previous points of contact that price left. This is literally market structure 101. It's a break, it's a retest, break at a high, deep pullback, so on and so forth. And that's the general sort of idea. And again, fundamentally, this is all super reliant on the dollar. Whatever the dollar does will affect literally all the analysis we've just spoken about. But on the basis that the dollar continues lower, on the basis that we are fundamentally weakening, gold should be fundamentally strengthening, because whenever the dollar is collapsing, whenever the central bank reserve currency, which is the dollar, weakens, everyone moves their money out into quote unquote safer assets, which is always gold, silver, it's the indexes, and that's why they strengthen. So again, fundamentally, if we weaken, we're looking for gold strength 100%. Again, same principle. If we're looking for a Monday, Tuesday retracement, you'd be looking for gold to pull back a little bit deeper. So maybe wick these lows potentially on the Monday. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to trade a Monday open, because typically speaking, especially if you have a big move on Friday, Monday is usually 9 times out of 10 a consolidation day, or it's a very low volume day. And it looks like Monday we wiped out a lot of liquidity and shit. So I really don't see how much volume we could have on the Monday. So I'm just a little bit wary with that. But the setup is there, we'll take it obviously. But I'll definitely be looking for price to come a little bit lower, maybe Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, we continue higher. What else is in the chat room? USD CAD. 2.1 by the end of the week. Yeah, more time, bro. More time. All right, so USD CAD, interesting price action here as well. Immediate thing spotted is the structural low, because price is currently coming into the lowest low on the chart. There is 100% liquidity resting below these equal lows here on a daily. So definitely structurally, and even way back here as well, but structurally definitely looking for price to come and actually take that at some point. Again, going based off of the fundamentals, going based off of the dollar's anticipated weakness, you should be looking for USD CAD to continue to weaken, because it's a USD pair. Obviously, if the dollar weakens, USD CAD should go further down. Granted that CAD doesn't do anything crazy, we should be getting a continuation lower. But to my knowledge, I think there's actually a bunch of CAD news coming out. Yeah, so there's a CAD CPI and some other fundamentals, so that may impact it. It depends. Granted, this is not just USD strength. Like, you could have a USD CAD strengthening even though USD is melting if the Canadian dollar does tank as well. So I would be paying attention to that. But granted, I know you're not a fundamental trader, so maybe I'd be looking to kind of avoid USD CAD this week, because there's a lot of red news on that. Cool, nice. So and that's gonna wrap up this little technical section for the time being. I'm gonna quickly end this meeting recording, and we'll do a